often people want to have the freedom that they haven't earned yet. The moment you start saying like, what could I have done differently? And then what can I do now is the moment of freedom, because now you are actually saying, I have control over the outcome of the situation and I have the ability to change what's going on.
If I abdicate that blame or responsibility onto somebody else, I lose control in that situation.
What's more important, for that dream and that vision, or for getting the approval of people?
Welcome to the Takeover with Tim and Cindy, where we show you how to dominate every area of life and business. Let's get winning.
Everything that you want is on the other side of what you are willing to give up. Welcome back to the Takeover with Tim and Cindy. I'm really excited about this episode because we are going to chat about what do you have to give up in order to go up. Tim and I are going to share some of the things that we've had to let go of along our journey of life and business in order to go to that next level. So here are the 5 things that we had to give up to go up.
Very first thing you got to give up is excuses. Like, it's the old saying, you can make excuses or you can make money. The whole concept of putting the blame somewhere else is ridiculous. Now, let's be clear. Taking extreme ownership is kind of a taboo thing. Like, everybody talks about it. It's really like kind of overdone. Like, what does it look like to take extreme ownership? But the reality is, anytime you place blame on anything in your life outside of you, you are taking the control over fixing the situation and giving it to somebody else.
Yeah.
Extreme ownership, as everybody talks about, is really just this, like, what can I do to change the outcome? What can I do to change the situation? And when you place blame, when you place the fault on somebody else, and we're all tempted to do it. Like, we're going through a thing right now with somebody we spent almost $100K with, and we're not getting what we were expecting. And there's that temptation to be like, well, they did this and we owe this. The reality is, what did we do wrong in this relationship? How could we have asked more out of this? How could we have demanded more out of what we wanted? And so it all comes down to, what did I do wrong in this environment? What did I do wrong if an employee doesn't perform? What did I do wrong with that employee if the culture is going bad? What did I do wrong with the culture if you didn't close the sale? What did I do wrong if the leads aren't good enough? What am I doing wrong? Whatever it is, when you ask, what am I doing wrong as the leader, as the contributor, as any area, guess what? That gives you control over the outcome of the situation. Because when I now ask myself, what did I do wrong? If my sales rep, if my sales team's not performing, what did I do wrong as a sales leader? Well, I could have done this. You start to think about the things that allow you to take control. And guess what happens? I know in the last episode, we talked about culture, right?
Yeah.
People don't do what you say, they do what you do. So they're not listening to your values, they're watching your values, right? And so one of our values at Pima is extreme ownership. If we say, yeah, extreme ownership, and they see me blaming everybody, the sales team, what the hell's wrong with you? Why are you below KPI? What's going on here? And versus me going, okay, guys, what can I do as a sales leader here? What am I doing wrong? I step back and think like, have I been coaching them enough? Have I been call reviewing enough? Have I been doing all these activities enough for them to succeed? And when they see me doing that, guess what their response is?
They also take extreme ownership.
Take extreme ownership. And it's like, there's this temptation like, well, if I'm going to take extreme ownership, I need everybody else to. Don't worry about everybody else. The moment you start saying like, what could I have done differently? And then what can I do now is the moment of freedom, because now you are actually saying, I have control over the outcome of the situation and I have the ability to change what's going on. And that's powerful. And when you do that, it's so funny because then everybody else around you does that. So guess what happens now when you as a leader are taking extreme ownership? Now your teammates are taking extreme ownership. Your co-founder, your partner's taking, when everybody's taking extreme ownership, your leadership's getting better. The individual contributors are getting better. It's an exponential thing. So it's not that we don't feel the temptation to want to just vent and blow up and blame. But I know you were telling me before, maybe you can give some insights on this. Like, our number one temptation is to place blame, but the proper response is to what you were saying something about, like, first focus on the solution, then we can get back to figure out who did what wrong.
Yeah, ultimately it's extreme ownership, right? The more that we can take ownership, whether it is our fault or not, that's not what we're talking about here. Putting yourself in a place of taking extreme ownership gives you the control over the outcome. Because if I abdicate that blame or responsibility onto somebody else, I don't have control. I lose control in that situation. And so if you want a certain outcome, it goes back to, are you taking extreme ownership over your life? And going back to what you were saying, if I can take extreme ownership over this situation right now, it puts me in a position to come up with a solution to the problem. Versus if I'm placing blame on the other person. Because the moment I blame you for it, I've relinquished control over that situation and my mind doesn't go into solution creation mode, right?
Good.
And so if you can adopt taking extreme ownership, which is something that we've done consistently, that's why it's part of our values, we've seen the direct outcome of what it does in our life, in our relationship, in our business, when we do take that seat of everything that happens is ultimately my fault.
Wow. It's the ability to take extreme ownership could literally be summed up in the ability to focus on the quickest, most relevant solution, which is first, what could I have done better?
Yeah.
What can I do right now? So number one, it allows you to get to solution to problem solving immediately.
Faster. Yeah.
Because if no one else is in the room, you're in the room and what could I have done? Then second step, how can I help the team more? And then the team's going to see that they're going to go, what could I have done? And it's a collaborative. So it's almost like it just comes down to the fastest way to get to the most relevant, most powerful solution to the problem is just to focus on yourself first. Like, what can I do? Love it. Anyways, I think I just had like a new revelation. I just got to kind of like think through that.
So to summarize, we gave up excuses. Excuses are not a part of our lives because ultimately we take extreme ownership and that allows us to move through situations and challenges a lot quicker. What is the second thing that we gave up, Tim?
We gave up late nights. Now, just to be clear, what I want to do is not what I should do, right?
Yeah.
What do I want to do? I want to hang out, watch movies, binge Netflix. Like, I had a long day at work. Everybody else like stays up late, watches Netflix till, 10, 11, midnight, sometimes 1 o'clock, maybe has a beer or two. Like it's not going to contribute to me recovering. It's not going to contribute to having energy. It's not going to contribute to me like leveling my game up. It's insane how much the things that we want to do versus the things that we ought to do make not just a little difference, but we're talking about when you start dialing these things in, these 5 things we're talking about, there's some other little dials that we can help you, as you listen to some other episodes, you would be blown away at your ability to we have days where we lay out the whole day, we get great sleep, we wake up early and we're able to get, 2-3 weeks worth of work done in one day. So this is a number one crucial thing is, we're in bed by 8:30 or 9 o'clock because we get up at 4:30, 5. Sometimes I just wake up right before the alarm or anything goes off. And a little hack is we do have smart lights in our house. So the smart lights come on about 10 minutes before the music comes on so that a lot of times we'll wake up before alarm goes off. But yeah, we get up, anywhere from 4:30 to 5 a.m., depending on, sometimes we're doing 4:30, sometimes we're doing 5s. Right now, I think we're doing 4:45?
4:45, right in the middle.
Everybody's different. I will say our biological clocks, we perform the absolute best in the morning. But there's 3 different biological clocks that people have. And there's the people that do really well, they're most productive in the mornings. There's people that do really well and they're most productive in the afternoons. And there's those people that do really well and they're most productive at nighttime. For Cindy and I, we are very hyper productive, minds blazing speed, could get just tons of work done, focus work done in the morning. So for us, we gave up to go up and that was the late nights.
Yeah. And it's contributed significantly. And even on the weekends, right? We try not to stay out on the weekends late because that throws off our productivity and peak performance going into the week. And so we had to give up late nights and we sacrifice. We actually create rules around what we do during the week. Like if a friend wants to go out, it's like, yeah, no, we don't go out during the week. We can do it on the weekend because we have a little bit more flexibility there. But I think it comes back to that rule that discipline creates freedom. And so the discipline that we've created around our peak performance routine during the week, sleeping early, in bed by 8:30 or 9, so that we can get up, allows us more flexibility on the weekend and actually creates a life that not only are we performing at really high levels, but we thoroughly enjoy our life because we've created those disciplines around our habits, around our routine. So we gave up late nights. That might not look the same for you, but think about, what do you have to give up in your routine, in your habits, in what you're doing on a day-to-day so that you can perform at peak performance levels day in and day out.
I love that. And I would say if we were to be specific about what we gave up, it was vegging out, like TVs.
Netflix, TV, wine nights during the week.
Yeah, we're not drinking alcohol. We're not doing, but like, let's say you're really productive at nighttime. Like if you're between 6 and midnight, like you're blazing speed, getting like, that little window, you could get 2 days worth of work done compared to the daytime. Work in that window where you're most productive. What I think mostly the point is here that we gave up to go up was like just junk food for the mind, like TV, just BSing around. We gave up that in the evening so that we could be productive when our biological clock's ideal. So find out wherever if you're blazing fast in the afternoon, you get up a little bit later. The big thing is cut out those 3, 4, 5 hour things out of the day that are just destroying your productivity and not contributing to active rest, which is a conversation we can have for another day. But if you think rest and recovery, what I want to do is drink beer and watch movies. Yeah. But that actually makes you more tired, makes you more groggy, and is going to be one of the biggest contributors to burnout. People don't realize that drinking beer and drinking wine and watching movies does not give you rest.
Yeah. Essentially, your mind and your body needs to go into active recovery. If you're still watching TV, your mind's very much active. But again, we could go quick entire episode talking about active recovery, but we gave up late nights. So think about what that looks like for you and your routine. What's the third thing that we gave up?
The third thing we gave up was 2-day weekends. And I will be honest, giving up the 2-day weekends was both the most rewarding and difficult thing to do. I would say that mixed with keeping my sleep routine similar on the weekends, like Friday, Saturday nights. Like, yeah, sometimes we stay up a little bit later, but for the most part, like we're kind of in bed around the same time. Maybe like instead of 8:30 or 9, we're like 9:30 or 10, right? But I tell you what, when Monday comes, we're like blazing. So Sundays, we take off Saturday, full Sabbath, just no work. We're done Friday evening. We hang out with friends. Maybe we go on a date night, whatever. Saturday is, we usually plan, like we're in South Florida and Miami specifically. So there's so many just cool cities around here. We could do 30 minutes this way, 40 minutes this way, go down to the Keys, go spend a week on Miami Beach. Like there's so many cool things that we could do here. We'll just go do like a mini vacation almost every weekend. Go on a little adventure for a full day. Like our goal is like, how do we get a day in? We're not going and watching TV all day on Saturday. We're trying to go out, do adventure, have fun. And that has been coming into Sundays now, because Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you're kind of in the whirlwind. Like as the entrepreneur, you got to set boundaries, obviously, but nevertheless, there's still going to be a lot of crazy stuff you have to deal with. But Sundays is a great day to really do like plan your whole week out. Like what's my weekly priorities? What daily tasks do I have? It allows us to do creative work. Like for instance, we're recording this on a Sunday. There's no Slack or email to respond to. That was a big one for us. And it was hard until you do it. And then you get kind of addicted to it. And then when you have a weekend where you're like, you take both days off and you go into Monday, and Monday's like the first day you're kind of in, you don't realize how much productivity like you're losing on that by not starting on the Sunday. And the Sundays are not like always a full day, are they?
Yeah. Sundays are usually that ramp up to go into the week. So it does usually look like planning work, focus work, content, the kind of work that doesn't require you to collaborate or to be in an office or respond to emails. I love Sundays because they do allow me to be disconnected from everybody else and put in hyper-focus work, but also set myself up for success during the week. Because like you said, I noticed that when I don't plan out my week on a Sunday, I'm going into Monday and it feels like a whirlwind, like you're stepping into everybody else's chaos, and taking that time on a Sunday puts you in that position of control. And again, we're taking this one day off right now on Saturdays, fully disconnected, and that might look different in 3 months or in 5 months or in a year. But this is what's required for us now in order for us to go to that next level. This whole episode is about what do we have to give up to go up? And we know that in this season, we have to give up the 2-day weekends, put in that 1 day of just extra recovery, really relax. And then Sundays is our day for planning and getting ourselves set up for the week.
And I love what you're saying there, because there's different times in different seasons, right? But I will say this, I think too often people want to have the freedom that they haven't earned yet. People sometimes buy into the dream of entrepreneurship. I know I've done this, where I started making some good money. I'm looking at Lamborghinis and Ferraris. I'm working less. It's another conversation we can talk about, like upper limiting. Like you're upper limiting, you start hitting a new level of success, you start going backwards. But the big thing is like sometimes people want to enjoy the victory before you've actually had it, right? Like it'd be like you're in the championship game, you're up, 38-27. And you're like, we got this. Like, let's just relax now. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you're in the championship game. Yeah, you may be ahead, but you haven't won the game yet. And so I think right now, as we're recording this, like we're in that. We're in that massive opportunity in front of us that we've been grinding for a while, like a long time. And for us, it's like, when we look back on this, we're going to see this as the biggest opportunity of growth that we've had thus far, and there'll be more in the future. For us, it was the cost or the option of not taking advantage of where we're at right now it's a no-brainer. You just got to go through seasons. And yeah, sure. I mean, there will be times when you're asked, but there might be a year, 2, 3, 4 years where you are just head down doing this.
Question becomes, are you willing to give up to go up? Or do you have that vision of entrepreneurship for you, which is more so the lifestyle? And that's like, hey, like I take a 4-day weekend. I take a 4-day work week, whatever that looks like for you. I think it goes back to the question, what do you have to give up to go up? Because some people are okay with that lifestyle, right? Where they have a lifestyle business and it's very different. I know if you're listening to this podcast, this is the takeover. So you want to win, you want to dominate. So nonetheless, right, it goes back to what are you willing to give up to go up?
There is different people, like for instance, we have a client that's been a client of ours for a long time. I won't say his name. Great guy, does about $80K a month, and he does 15 hours a week. And his business is pretty set up. Like that's cool. That's a great dream. But the reality is the time we're living in right now, the slow growth is so dangerous because in a moment, AI technology can make you irrelevant and completely wipe you out. So I think for us, we're just feeling an urgency. We got to be moving so fast that as things change, we're already blazing ahead. And I would encourage people, I think it's a very dangerous time to try to just be okay with a lifestyle business. I'll be straight up. If you're in a lifestyle business, that shit can be gone so quick.
Yeah.
One pandemic, one technology change, one little shift can absolutely wreck you, your family, your future. The show's called The Takeover because we're here, like, we don't want to make excuses. We don't want to get to the end of our life and not have completely dominated. Absolutely. So I will say that, and that was what we, had to do is we knew to build the momentum that it was going to take up the 2-day weekends just so we don't overwhelm people. I think what's super important too is that we also have a no burnout culture. So, I mean, maybe you could just touch on that a little bit on what does that look like to have this level of intensity, 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, nonstop, keeping these things up, but also have energy, be happy, be healthy. What does that look like?
Yeah, I think it goes back to what you do like after work, right? After work routines, weekend routines. Are you prioritizing active recovery versus watching Netflix after work? And if you can optimize your life around like a peak performance routine, prioritizing sleep, active recovery, what you do on the weekends, you actually find that you can get a lot done without burning out. No burnout culture means you're living this life of peak performance, but you're also prioritizing active recovery. I think about as entrepreneurs or quote unquote corporate athletes, we have intense periods of work and work and work and work. But if you think about athletes, people that are professional in what they do and they're professional athletes, they actually have extended periods of work and extended periods of recovery. But when it comes to business, or people that are working in corporate and you have a day job, we have very intense periods of work with very little recovery. So the question becomes, how can you incorporate active recovery and intense periods of recovery in your day to day so that you can get back to that momentum? Energy levels are on point. Your energy is on point. And again, it comes back to the sleep, nutrition, active recovery. It's a longer conversation.
So I used to live in Kansas City, and I ran a detailing shop, and we detail cars for a lot of like Chiefs players. They'd always get like their Bentleys and their whatever, all their cars done before game day on Saturday. So I got to know a lot of the Chiefs players back when they weren't very good. It's 2023 right now. They've definitely leveled their game up the last few years. Back when I was in Kansas City, they were really bad. And it was the funniest thing. I'd send our team out there. Sometimes I'd come out, and if I'd come out just to check in on these guys and chat with them, I'd always be like, "Hey man, how you doing? Oh, hey, how you doing, man? That's pretty good. Hey, what are you up to tonight? Like, if you want to come out with us, we're going to get drinks." I'm like, "Bro, you got a game on Sunday and you're drinking?" Like, just imagine that. Like, you're not gonna have like a Tom Brady. Who is it? Messi? That's the big soccer player being in Miami. Messi, right? These folks playing at a high level, they're not watching Netflix and drinking beer to recover. They're doing the ice baths, they're doing the PT, they're doing the saunas, they're doing stuff like that. And so, I think that's. We kind of went off on a tangent there, so maybe that's like just one little bonus. I want to make sure people know how to sustain this kind of lifestyle.
For sure. Okay, with that, what's the fourth thing that we gave up?
Fourth thing you have to give up is caring what people think. Straight up, you got to like stop worrying about what other people think. And like, let's be real. It's not that I don't. I do. And I have to be conscious to not let it get to me, or to not worry about it, or to not let other people, because we are emotional beings. And so when people say something, you can feel rejection. You could feel a lot of emotions, but if you were to really break down like all of the external excuses you give to like why you stopped doing something, maybe it's an outbound marketing thing you're doing and you got some rejection or people hating on you, stop doing that, or you're doing this one thing and people are like, "Oh, that's silly. Why would you do it?" Really what you caring about more than anything else is being rejected by people. And no one likes rejection. I wouldn't like to say like, "Oh, I love rejection." Like it doesn't feel good. And that's why most people will live in the same town their whole life, never do anything great, even though they feel a calling. It doesn't matter if you're in the same town. Some people grow and they're raised in the same town. That's what they're supposed to do. And they love that. That's okay. What I'm saying is, if you have a calling, if you have a desire to do something that is different than the people around you, you want to create something bigger, you want a life bigger for yourself than everybody else around you, you want to move to a different state, build a different kind of business, you want to do a different kind of thing, like that's going to make people uncomfortable. And everybody talks about this, right? But the reality is, like, I don't like the feeling of being rejected by people. But you have to get over yourself, and here's how you do it. You have to ask yourself, what is more important for you? Because what I'm about to tell you here, if you do not have a real conversation with yourself that the reason why you're caring about what other people think is because you don't want to get rejected, you don't want to look silly, you will make excuses of why you gave up on your dream. When the reality is you gave up on the dream because other people were going to look at you funny or reject you or make you feel bad. But here's how you cure that is your why. Why do you want to build this big thing? And be okay with like, I want to make a lot of money. You don't have to do I want to make a lot of money because I want to help people, make all this excuses. I want to make a lot of money. And I always have. And I've wanted to build crazy big things. And I've wanted to drive a Lamborghini. I've wanted to have mansions. Like, that's okay just to say, I want those things because I want those things. Right. But yeah, I also want to be able to, if my mom gets sick and she can't cover her thing on insurance, I want to be able to, here's $100,000. Cool. Like, I want to be able to give $2 million to our church. Like, I want to be able to do these things. And you have to like think about that life you want, the impact you want to make, all of these different things, and say, what's more important for me to reach this mission that I feel is God-given, that I feel in my heart that if I get to the end of my life, if I do not get and create and build that life I know that I'm called to do, I will feel like I have failed my life. What's more important, for that dream and that vision, or for getting the approval of people?
It's powerful. I think so much in this like social media culture that we have, we're getting feedback almost instantly. immediate feedback. And people are looking for that. Once I post, do I have the positive feedback, the likes, the shares, etc., the comments? And I think to one extent, we focus so much on that feedback that we want, that we crave, the likes, right? The followers, the shares. But on the other side, I think what can also come with that, when you are pushing boundaries, when you are doing things at another level, when you're challenging yourself and going out of your comfort zone, it's that you're opening yourself up to feedback that can also be negative, right? You're opening up yourself to people that are going to be haters and critics and tell you, why did you post that? Why did you do that, etc. So it's knowing that as you step out of your comfort zone and you're going to new levels and new territories, you're welcoming feedback. And most times it's going to be negative. Sometimes it might be positive, which is also a plus. But at the end of the day, are you willing to forego that feedback to get to your big why and the big outcome? And that's one thing that we had to give up. I mean, we get all kinds of comments when we post stuff about like being an interracial couple and that kind of stuff. Like, does that mean we're going to stop posting because we receive those kind of comments? Heck no.
You can choose whether to conform to everybody else's desire for you, or you can choose your goal and your dream. And for me, when I get to the end of my life, and ultimately when I stand before God and he's like, hey, here's what I called you to do. Here's the potential I had for you. Here's all these great things. What'd you do? Well, I don't want to rock the boat. Like, right? Yeah. No, like I want to know that I truly did walk out my full mission and calling versus worry about what other people think.
Yes. I think that segues really nicely into number 5. What is the 5th thing that we gave up?
The 5th thing is just hanging out with people that were out of alignment with where we're going. And just to be really clear on this, it's not like we've ever had bad friends. It's not like we've ever had these folks are like losers, right? And I mean, definitely in high school and stuff like that. But it's like, there's going to be different seasons in your life where in one season, you two are on a similar trajectory. You're feeding off each other. You're helping each other level up. But then there's going to be other seasons where, they're going one way, you're going another way. And just trying to like save that to just like save that or to spend time with somebody that's going a different direction. Not only are you doing yourself a disservice, like you're doing them a disservice. So, I mean, one of the easiest ways to think about it is the person you're hanging out with, are you the one that's mostly elevating them or are they mostly elevating you? And it's good to have both. Like you want a relationship where like there's 2 or 3 things that when you hang out with them, like you're inspired about like the way their fitness, commitment to their fitness. You're inspired about like, we were hanging out with an entrepreneur couple the other day and, his vision to be a billionaire. And, he's already got 75 rental properties. He's running an information product company. And then you talk to this couple, we're walking away going, dang, man, like you're inspired and you're motivated. You're leveled up on multiple levels, whereas if you're hanging out with some friends and you're just like, you're not walking away inspired and motivated, and at least for 2 or 3 things, it doesn't matter how comfortable you are with that relationship or how much that relationship was like good for you at another time. Like you got to be able to give up to go up. And that's like we asked on last question, what do you care more about? Like how people think about you or that goal, that mission, that dream you have. And it's okay to keep loving people, to keep them in your lives. Maybe you have certain big events that you're doing, like birthdays or like different celebrations that you're still connecting with them. But it doesn't mean you got to hang out with them every Friday for happy hour anymore. Like maybe you got to be in a different room where there's people that are way beyond where you're at success-wise, where you're starting to get into these new rooms. And I think that's a really difficult thing for people to do. We had paid to be a part of like this mastermind. It was the biggest investment we had ever made. And at this time, our goal was to build a company that was worth $10 million, right? Like, and that was a really big goal for us. And then now we're in a room with, first guy that comes up to me, he's got a company doing $500 million a year in revenue. And I'm out on the balcony of this big old penthouse. And, somebody comes up to me and I think we were doing like 60 or 70K a month at this time. So we weren't doing much, but like somebody came up and they're like, what are you doing? How much revenue are you doing? And I'm like, 70. And he's like, 70 million. Cool. What do you do? And just being in that room, it only took one moment, one instance to be like, oh, all these people, like, they're attracted to me. Like, they want to come and talk to me. They're like, I fit in this room. You fit in this room. It only took one day to realize, oh, our goal is way too small. We should be, at the same level. And I think that one shift, that one day made a massive difference and, put us on a completely different trajectory. And that was the power of getting uncomfortable, going into a different room, where the comfortable thing would have been like, hey, let me just go grab a cigar with some of the buddies that I already have, but not stepping in that room, we wouldn't be where we're at today. All right, well, that's the Takeover with Tim and Cindy. Now, if you got no value whatsoever from today's show and you hate us and you never want to see us or talk to us again, please do not share this with anybody. Please do not rate this show. But if you did, if you got one thing or two things that you're like, dang, like, that's going to really help me, make sure to rate the show. It helps us a lot to be able to get in front of and help a lot more people. I mean, that's our mission, is to end entrepreneurial poverty, to really help people out. So if you got some value, think of like a friend that's maybe starting a business, runs a business, has a business, whatever, that needs more help, needs more value, share it with them. And if you got value, rate that damn show. You know how hard it is to get people to rate the show? So rate the show, just rate the show. And again, domination is not a destination. It is a way of life. Stay winning.